Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Uncle AK. My co-host Reflex is in the ones and twos right now. You know, he's the person producing this podcast we on right now. If you haven't heard, check out. If you don't know now, you know. Check out our episodes on YouTube. SITM Podcast is a handle. Check us on every social platform. SITM Podcast. Our email is sitmpodcast237@gmail.com. I'm in the building with the practitioners. We're talking cybersecurity. To my immediate right is my man Bertrand. To his right is Clifford, and to his right is Ghislain. Most of y'all know him as DJ Barak, our very, very first guest of SITM Podcast, which is probably also our highest rated podcast, maybe, kind of ish. But yeah, y'all should check that out if you guys haven't. Since 9/11, America has been facing a great threat, which is cybersecurity. We've had a lot of threats in this country, not just in arms, but cyber. And America has taken upon itself to defend itself, not just through arms, but through computers, through cyber analysts, through database analysts. I mean, you name it. We've seen a rapid growth of technology over the years. Be it database, be it cybersecurity, be it even military-wise. These jobs just keep increasing day after day, day in, day out. And it was only right to have, some experts in the building to talk about, what they do in terms of cybersecurity. Before, shout out to Kate Cham, a Scrum Master we had on the platform. She spoke about Scrum, which is still not part of technology, but this one is a little bit intense. These guys will, definitely attest to, the work they put in, day out. I can't really speak for Bertrand. I can speak for and Clifford. I can speak for Barak. Every time I talk to him, he's always his laptop. My man, his light skin. He be looking red. I'm like, dude, why you looking red, man? It's like, it's the job. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves again and tell us what they do.
Yeah. Hey. My name is Bertrand. I'm a CyberSecurity Analyst for a couple of years now, and it's a pleasure to be here. I've watched you guys on LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever. It's nice to actually be here,
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
My name is Clifford Nchtou. I've been a cybersecurity analyst for a few years now. I actually find out about you guys on Instagram through Ketcham, and I followed you guys. And to actually be here is amazing.
Dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. Our very first guest, Barak.
Yeah.
All right, I was the first guest in this podcast, and I go by Ghislain. You can call me DJ Barak, but I'm a cybersecurity analyst, a security control assessor for CFTC.
Damn, dude, you're giving all your credentials. That's what's up. That's what's up.
that's my bad.
But now, man, we've all heard the stories on the street. Everybody talking about cybersecurity. Everybody wants to become a cyber analyst. You have the nurses quitting the job to become cyber analysts, or scrum masters, or database analysts. So, for those who are watching, and they really do not know they keep hearing about cybersecurity and they don't know what it is. Can one of you, define cybersecurity?
Yes, of course. So, like you said, when the 9/11 happened, there was no real framework in place to protect the security postures of information systems. So the DoD had something called a DICAP, but it wasn't that if it was just applicable to the DoD in itself. So the government saw a need to bring something else that could be more applicable to all the other federal agencies, and that's when they brought the NIST risk management framework. So cybersecurity is protecting. I don't want to give the full dictionary definition, but it's protecting information systems from unauthorized access, basically. So we have three triads that we're always trying to protect: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It's called the CIA triad. So in the DMV, when people talk about cybersecurity is a very, very big thing. It's not just all about this pen testing. There's a lot of things that consist of cybersecurity. Right. But what we do, we are cybersecurity analysts. So we do documentation, basically. We are not cracking no codes, doing no pen testing, none of that. We're just making sure the jobs get done and it gets documented. So basically, it's like the job of a secretary on a senior level with information systems. So that's basically what it is, what we do.
Yeah, for the average Joe, and I can relate to what you're saying,
Yeah.
but then again, for the average Joe, they're gonna listen, they're gonna hear NIST and all that stuff, and they're gonna be like, I mean, what is that? You know what I mean? So when you speak of protecting information, what information are we talking about here?
So when you speak of protecting information, it's because all the federal agencies in the DMV area, the DHS, Department of Commerce, Transport, they have information systems. Those systems don't really mean nothing without the information in it. So our job is to make sure those systems are being protected from unauthorized access. And the three points that we look at is to protect it from for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So that's basically what it is. Now we have NIST. NIST is a division in the Department of Commerce that produces guidelines that we use for FISMA compliance. FISMA is the law. So long and short, that is just what it is, protecting information systems from unauthorized access. I could write a book about it, but that's basically what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people see cyber analysts as the people with all the money. Is that true?
I won't say it's all about the money,
Mm-hmm.
because as we can see, a lot of people are trying to get into cyber, but you can't get into cyber and your motivation is money. If you want to first of all learn, you want to know what you're going to get yourself into, because the job out there, it requires you to be very, very vigilant and attention to details. Like we protecting information,
Mm-hmm.
Information systems, and these are federal government systems. So you have to be. You want to learn before you get in. Your money should not be a motivator.
Right.
You want to learn. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. So that's all I can say about it. Because if money is your motivator, you're not going to make it, because at some point in time you will stop learning because you have the money, and in this world technology is evolving and you want to keep learning. So if money is your motivator, you're gonna stop at some point because you feel like I have money,
Right.
and you don't want to learn anymore.
Just to piggyback on Clifford's statement about money and being an expert, if you're not adding value,
Right.
you're getting fired.
That's true.
So anything you do, you have to add value. You need to come with something extra to the table. What makes you different from any regular cybersecurity analyst? You have to bring some extra value to what you do and what you produce, because the client is definitely looking up to you for that guide, to guide them on protecting their systems from whoever, because these systems are used on a day-to-day basis for a lot of different resources, PIIs, credit cards, debit cards. It's used to protect a lot of sensitive information, which if anyone gets their hands on, it can be used to do a lot of damage.
Right.
So our job is to go there, do our best to add value, and make sure that we're professional as well.
So in a nutshell, let's break this down again for the average Joe, right?
Right.
So we have, for example, we've seen data breaches, Home Depot, or some credit card companies as well.
Right.
So it's fair to say that the cyber analysts are the people who safeguard this system to make sure that hackers do not penetrate this system.
Let me can I say a little bit on that?
The thing is, cybersecurity is so broad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different levels to cybersecurity. At the top, you have the Chief Information Security Officer. You have the IT Program Manager. You have your ISSOs, the Information System Security Officers. And you have your Security Control Assessors. There are different tiers to different performance of work done by each level of the demand of the environment. Every environment is different. Based on your work and based on your task, you can be tasked to do a range of things. We have people that do vulnerability scanning. We have people that do pen testing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a team that is really broad. You never do anything alone.
Right.
You work in a team
Gotcha.
where everybody chips in and makes their fair share of adding value and protecting systems.
Mm-hmm. So what would it take for anybody, like how and why should anybody want to become a cyber analyst? What would it take?
Well, in the DMV area, you can go to school to get an associate degree or a bachelor's degree or a master's degree in cybersecurity. It will probably be a bachelor's of science or a master's of science. But in the DMV area, we do have a lot of crash courses where it is streamlined to exactly what you need for the job, and so the teacher does just that for a couple of weeks, and then you get certified, and then you can be able to put your foot into the door. Then from there you can grow from there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really life changing. Because back in the day was nursing. You have to go to nursing school. You have to get like a BSN, then you get the board, and then it takes years, and then you start out with like $50,000 a year, but you just go do all these crash courses. The crash courses are effective in themselves because instead of in the university they teach you everything that you need to know, but the crash course streamlines what you need for the job in question to be a cybersecurity analyst, which has basically two roles. You're either an ISSO or a security control assessor, so they teach you just that. So then from there you get a cert or two, preferably, then you get your foot into the door.
Okay. I was just gonna ask if one of you could, take on this question. Should anyone get a degree in cybersecurity or get a certification? I know you've touched on that a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just want to, get somebody else to take on to it.
I think in the field,
Uh-huh.
a bachelor's degree is always required. If you go for any interview, they're gonna ask you if you have a bachelor's degree. But once you're in the field, the certification counts a lot, because that's what makes the company or the employers know that you have continuous education. Getting your degree in cybersecurity, like I don't have a degree in cybersecurity. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't get your foot in the door.
Right.
Like you said, we have the crash courses that helps you, that simplifies what you're supposed to be doing. But once you get in the field, you want to continue learning, you want to go higher. That's when the certifications come in, because you won't go higher without getting the certs.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
To add, school is very important.
Right.
Period.
The
more you have, the better off.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
can say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When you're not learning, you're dying,
Yeah.
pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I would say they're both important. You want to get higher, get more degrees, but you want to get your sets too. Yeah.
Let's hear your stories real quick, because I know for a fact that you just didn't jump up one day and get to the position in which y'all are right now. So if you could just briefly tell us your story in terms of, oh man, I graduated college and I was facing such difficulties, but I found this and now I'm here. So let's start with Barack, because he's awfully quiet on that side.
I'm kind of sick, but I'll try. All right. So I've always been an IT fan. Computers, anything computer, I was definitely a big fan of it. It started in Cameroon, actually, where I started playing video games. I took keyboarding classes, and I was learning about MS-DOS. And I moved to the US and lived in an apartment with my parents, and I would literally go to the trash can and pretty much dig into the trash and pick up used computers or trash computers and try to fix them myself. I will break a lot of them, but the computers that my parents would buy at home, I will make sure that I open that computer and try to figure out exactly what part works where. And doing that try and error, I was able to learn what does what, and I was able to break as many as 100 computers as well. But doing that, I learned a lot on the components that make up a computer. I learned about the hardware, the software, the keyboard, the mouse, and that was my introduction into computers. Moving forward, fast forwarding to how I got into cyber. I started off going to school, becoming a cybersecurity analyst, I had my degree in cybersecurity. And while doing that, I was working as a help desk. So I started as a help desk technician, picking up the phone calls and remoting into people's PCs and troubleshooting for different range of issues. It could be installing new software, it could be troubleshooting their phone, the camera issues. It was a range of problems. So anything that the help desk or customer service were accustomed to, that's what I was introduced to. And I moved from there to a tier 2 system admin. Then I became a cybersecurity analyst. So my growth has been one stage after the other. A lot of people are not gonna be introduced that way, but that was to me the perfect way because I got introduced into the basics of IT, which starts at the help desk, and working my way up to becoming a cybersecurity analyst.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Clifford.
Yeah, pretty much I came here when I was like 19 years old, and you know, coming from Africa, everyone wants to do nursing. So I was actually in school. I had like a course left to get into nursing school, and then a friend of mine told me about the cybersecurity course. So I went. I took it. I took a risk because I was like, if I do this, it doesn't work because I can't do nursing and do cybersecurity at the same time. Because I was in class and I was doing nursing because my family was making me to do it, and I didn't actually like what I was doing.
Yeah.
So once I took cyber and the passion for it, I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know more. So I took a risk. I dropped my classes for nursing and I focused on cybersecurity. So luckily, once I was done with the course, after like 3 weeks, I got a job. Getting a job, I wasn't like an IT guru or anything. So I'm in the military. I was able to go to school for IT specialist. So that was when I actually went and learned a little bit about, you know, like help desks, take down the computer, I can put it back together, networking and all that kind of stuff. But so far it's been an amazing journey. So I actually got into cyber, then went back and learned the basic IT stuff.
Yeah, for me, unlike Barack, I have no IT background. I came in 2013 for the first degree from University of SWA, International Affairs. I wanted to be like a diplomat with the UN, all of that. But when I came here, then I joined the army.
Dressed like one, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh. so I joined the army 2015. I'm the reserves, just like Clifford. Thank you for your service, brother.
Thank you, man.
So it was so that's physical security. So upon leaving, I was like, if you can do the security physically, why don't I branch out into something that's also more like IT security?
Right. Yeah.
So I did one of them crash courses, and I got a cert, and then I got my foot into the door. So I'm actually trying to go back now to get another bachelor's or master's degree in IT. So it's been a steep learning curve. You know, in life everything's learnable because we're all born dumb, naked, and speechless. Everything else we learn.
Yeah.
So I came from no IT background. I learned, and I'm working my way up, and so far so good.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
What was it like your first day, you know, walking to that
Oh.
building? You know, you walk into that building, you know, you had your badge, you're like, yo, mama, I finally made it. Like, what was it like?
With me, I wouldn't say like I actually made it because once I got my first job, my environment was a very tedious environment. They expect you to get in there from the first day. Once you get access to everything, they expect you to start working immediately. Coming from how we got into cyber, you didn't know a lot.
Yeah.
So I was working there for 6 months and I was still nervous. Like I was just walking one day, like, can we get your badge? That was how nervous I was. But again, because when I was doing the course, I actually studied and I knew what I was. Like if you ask me theoretically, I would explain everything to you and you would know that I know what I'm talking about. But just the hands-on experience wasn't there. But I could relate to what people were saying because when I read something, I know that, okay, this is what this is talking about. Then I can move on from there. But the first day, yeah, I couldn't even talk. It was that bad. It was that I just sat out somewhere on my desk and I was just like, can you do this? Yeah. And then that's how I got in. Yeah.
Anybody want to share the experience?
It was crazy.
You're only talking about the first day job. What about the interview process? For some people like Clifford, it was really short. Like first one.
I was lucky. Like I went to like 2 interviews and I got a job. Yeah.
So
I was really
everyone is different, right? So not all fingers are the same. For me, it was like 9 good months. I drove all over the place. That's why I went to so much struggle, and I really try to help everyone I see this time around because I don't want them to go through what I went through. And then I wrote the cert the first time and I failed. I had to take it again. You know, I was, so it was really rough. But getting to the job, I was lucky to be on a team where my team lead was a captain in the military, and so we really clicked and we bonded. So she was on my side all the time. She taught me everything that I needed to know and all that. So I was just that lucky. So it was kind of hard to get a job, but once I got it, I was really lucky to find someone who was willing to learn and mentor, and that's how I did to work my way up. Because all of us here, we're not self-made. You know, you just seen us right now, but there's a lot of people in the back who pitched in for us to become what we are. That's why we look back to really help as much as we can.
Yeah. Let's touch a little bit on the interview process. What is it like? I mean, I can tell it's not. I mean, I can attest to that. It's not. It's not an easy process. You know what I mean? Like, it's really a struggle. I mean, like,
for real.
Especially if you've never done it before.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's hard. Like, it's hard taking theory and matching up with
Right.
with something that's practical. It's really hard. So, what is it like? What do most people fear the most when it comes to interviews, especially in cybersecurity?
The biggest one I think I've experienced personally was being able to articulate myself very well based on what is expected of that position or the job description. What that means is whenever I applied for a job, I think I was going to the wrong job. Literally. I'll apply for a job and I'll feel like I'm in the wrong place. Meaning I'll coming out of that interview sweating my arms and legs, panicking like,
that anxious?
man,
I can relate.
how soon am I going to get this job?
I can relate, definitely.
But at the end of the day, based on my experience, the biggest thing I can take back from interviews is just be yourself.
Right.
Be yourself and know exactly what's on your resume. You cannot go to an interview and not know what you put on your resume.
Right.
They're asking you based on what you told us that you did. And you have to be able to tell them exactly word for word examples, real world examples, not something made up. Give them real world examples of what you did, how you did it, whether you were successful or not. And lesson learned. No perfect environment. So every day is a learning experience. Nobody is perfect. I went in and I had a pretty tough time. Like, I had to work my way up. Nothing was handed. You had to show your value.
Right.
They will check you. Like, did you send this email correctly?
Right.
Something as simple as your signature could be a problem.
Yeah.
But for the most part, getting in those interviews is a success.
So pretty much I'm hearing focus is key.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're not somebody.
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I went in, I didn't have a professional background, and like he said, your signature, how you send an email is very important. I was actually called by my PM like, you can't be doing this. This is a professional. Like, they actually told me that. But just because he knew I know what I was talking about, he was like, we're giving you a shot. You're too young. Of course, I got it. I started doing it when I was 22. It's like, you're too young, and the amount of things that you're an asset. We can't lose you. So you got to pick up and try to learn from your peers. And luckily for me, I had an amazing team with like 2 Cameroonians in there, and the other people that are like the other Americans that were with me, they were willing to help, and we all worked as a team. Yeah, so that's where I started working my way up. When I left, I was like almost the team lead, because the team lead left and I was the next person in line. So I actually learned a lot from that environment, regardless of what happened over there. Yeah, it was a roller coaster when I got in. Yeah. And one thing I would like to say is, once you get a job, don't ever disclose how much you make to your colleagues, because that's what make, like, this guy, he believed that he knows more than me, and me just getting to the fair, I told him how much I make, so he got mad. He was like, this kid just started and he's almost making as much as I am. So he was doing everything in his way to make sure I was fired. And from getting in and you don't know what you're doing, you're nervous. Whatever he says freaks me out. Yeah. And I had to report him because he was bullying me. So yeah, unfortunately he got fired because of that, because that's workplace bullying, which is not tolerable. So
it's a competitive field.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Bertrand, you as a trainer, in terms of interviews, could you please share with us, some pointers.
Oh.
You give your
Big
students.
big one. Big one. Number one is you, like Barack said it already. You put the stuff in your resume. You can't know what you said you put on your own resume. That's ridiculous. Number two, I think one problem a lot of people face is confidence, and one thing that a lot of people face too is appearing desperate. Desperation in life is not attractive. When you show a girl you love her too much, your value in her eyes drops. Likewise, it's the same thing. I'm just being very honest. Yeah. So when you go, you're going in there like a professional. I have 5 years of experience. Not really 5 years of experience. I'm not lying. I'm exaggerating the truth. So you have 5 years of experience. I have all this to bring to the table, and you have a job and you have a team. You're trying to find out if you want to work with me, and I'm trying to find out if your team is fit for me to come in. So when you go there, acting desperate, like you want it so bad, they ask you stuff that you don't even know, it's not on your resume, and you claim that you know it and then you cannot defend it. It just don't make sense. I'd rather you say, I don't know this, can I find it out and get back to you? Sometimes you can zone out because you had a busy day, or you had a long day, or you haven't done this particular project in a while. So one thing I would really say is that know your stuff, and then avoid appearing desperate, because in life as a whole, not just in cybersecurity, desperation is not attractive. So I would say that. And then interview wise, that's pretty much it. Just know your stuff, and then I feel like mentorship is what a lot of people lack out here. People just feel that they can do it on their own. Life has success leaves clues. If there are people already who have made it and who are willing to help you and who can help you, why try to reinvent the wheel? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why, reach out for help, and then go in there, be confident, laugh, smile, don't be tense. I've seen people, like, I've gone for interviews where I leave sweating, shaking. It's not an interview to go to heaven or hellfire. So if it works out, fine.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, it's good for the
Move to
experience. You
the
know what I'm
next one.
saying?
Yeah, move to the next
You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
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 Good point.
Yeah.
Barack, you as somebody who interviews people.
Yeah.
And for all you who are looking for interview cybersecurity jobs, Rush Barack, he does interviews. So it's a good guy, to link up with, to practice, your interview skills and all that. But what do you look for, in a candidate when you're interviewing?
The biggest thing is, do you know your material? Simple as that. Because every job has a requirement, and that requirement is what the job needs to be successful. And if you don't meet that requirement, there's no hand holding. We don't have enough time to hold your hand through showing you A, B, C, D when we're expecting you that you have tons of years of experience coming into the door. And we're paying you for work done, and you're not producing, you're not adding value, you're not coming with something extra to the table. So pretty much just being able to find somebody that knows what they're talking about, know the material, and has done this before. Because every environment has their own trials and temptations as well. The environments, nothing is perfect. So we need people that will come and change things. Need people that will come in and tell us, no, don't do it this way, do it like this, because in my last job, this is what worked.
Right.
And if you bring something that works and presented it to the table, people appreciate that more than you coming and making up stories that, when questioned, you stutter, you hold back, you can't even repeat the same answer we asked you 3-4 times. So just being consistent and know your material, know your resume, and just be fearless. Speak from your heart and just tell them exactly how you feel. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's not magic. Some environments, if you've done something that they have not done, tell them, I did not do that. People respect that.
Right.
When you're upfront and say, what you guys are doing now, I have no experience doing that, but I'm willing to learn, and I bet you I will do my research, I will do my homework, and I guarantee I'll excel in anything you put me through. And any interviewee will look at you like, whoa, I haven't seen this person before. That they're challenging me. Like, in a sense, people want you to challenge them.
Right.
So when you go to an interview, don't only look at it as they're trying to, scare you. No, they're finding the best candidate to fit that position.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might not be you.
So pretty much confidence.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
definitely, of course, if you've worked for 10, 15 years and that's what we need, and you know your job, why would you like that?
Facts.
Confidence is a must.
Yeah.
You should speak what you've done
Mm-hmm.
confidently, fearlessly,
Mm-hmm.
and it should speak for itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
The proof is in the pudding.
So let's say, I just came from, overseas and I'm a technology person, right? I love computers. I want to, join, cyber, a cyber team or work in a cyber firm. Where do I start? What's the first thing I need to know?
That's a tough one.
That's great.
So every agency, DHS, Commerce, Transport, DoD, they have different business needs and different goals they're working on at the same time. So when the thing about this whole cyber thing that we love about it is like you're not creating or recreating anything because everything is already in place. Like if you're trying to do like an SSP, there's a template. And the law is NIST, the law is FISMA, the guideline is from NIST. So everything is just there, and all of those things are on Google. You can literally Google them. So coming back to your question, I think you just go with the flow of the team. That's like if Barack team, then they're trying to do like point management, you have to get in there and hit the ground running, helping them just do that happen. Because at the end of the day, it's business because we're dealing with federal agencies. And so we're working with people's companies, we are contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just have to do whatever makes the client happy, to achieve the set goals at that point in time.
Right. But in terms of, going through the degree route or certification,
Oh,
what do I start with?
Okay.
Which is, do I go get a degree or should I just go
no.
through the crash course? I need to
No,
go
no,
through the
no.
crash course.
So-
Some
Where do I start?
some people go through the crash course.
Uh-huh.
But the base is getting a security plus. That's like the entry level certification.
Mhm.
Most companies will require you to have a security plus before you can go to the next step based on their requirements. And when cyber is really huge. Like if you're a normal IT person, if you want to get into cyber, you have offensive security. But pretty much what we do is defense. Like information security. Offensive security is like pen testing.
Mhm.
You got to know which route you want to go. If you like pen testing or RMF, it's just the way that you have. Every organization has a base or the entry of what they want. You can go to a job and they don't require you to have a cert, but most companies will want you to have at least a security plus to get your foot in the door,
Right.
or they can give you like a 6 months time frame for you to have that cert.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
But-
pretty much. Go ahead.
but to add to what this is saying, I would rather you do the crash course,
Right.
get a job. Education is very important, but you want to go do your master's degree, your bachelor's degree with money in your pocket. You're comfortable, you're
Right.
happy. So get the crash course, get the cert, entry level, cap, security plus,
Mhm.
where you can start making anywhere from 95K and above. And then later on, you're like, okay, now I'm good, I'm getting this experience, let me go actually get a formal degree, because you want to have that competitive edge. It's IT, it's constantly changing,
Mhm.
just like everything else in life. So the search first, then the job, then education, formal education later on.
That question is very
It's
vague.
vague. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I said it's vague.
So I don't know how to tackle that question, but that question can be answered from different
Different
forefronts.
Yes,
Right.
yep.
We can talk about
For
it
some
all day.
people, school is important.
Mm-hmm.
For others, they want the fast track.
Right.
So I think what works for each person is subjective.
Yeah.
But the best advice I'll give anyone is school.
School.
Go through school.
Yeah.
At least have a bachelor's degree.
Right.
Because you don't want to be an assessor or be an ISSO and you can't articulate correctly. And you're typing documents incorrectly. You're doing charts and they look upside down. You want to be able to prove your worth at work by being an educated person first. And being able to show that you're adding value and you're not just existing through that job. 8 hours is a long time to be in a job and you're not able to add value to what is already pre-existing. So it's important that you get your education, get your certs, start from wherever. But I feel like the footprint should be being able to have at least a degree that you can articulate yourself very well. You can attend meetings and be very thorough in your work because your work will be reviewed down the road. It leaves footprint, literally. Like 4, 5, 10 years now, somebody comes back and reviews it and asks themselves, did this person really go to school to write this? So it has to make sense. You have to write stuff that somebody can read 15, 20, 30 years from now and be like, wow, this is outstanding.
Right.
We can still hire you. And I've seen a lot of crappy work, honestly. And it doesn't leave a good impression, you know. So I feel like educating yourself, you know, all the courses out here they're perfect, but I feel like without that background of education, I feel like you would definitely slack a little bit. You'll be lagging. But for the most part, educate yourself, get your certs, and master your craft.
Yeah, man, I applaud you guys. You know, why? Because you guys created a group called the DMV Professionals. You know what I mean? That was a very great initiative, you know, by you guys' behalf.
Yeah.
It's not easy, you know, for somebody to just wake up and create a group and, you know, take that responsibility upon themselves and say, you know, I'm gonna invite all these people. It doesn't matter what level you're on, if you're a beginner or you're a professional. You know, let's come together. Let's work. Let's network. One thing that we're fond of saying in the DMV is, yo, Africans don't support Africans. So to see that, you know, actually manifest, you know, in real time, it's a pretty dope concept. But not to speak too much, who was the original, you know, creator of that, and why?
So very, very, very interesting question. So one day, this is my brother right here. We get off work and we're talking on the phone, and he's like, "Bro, why don't we bring all of us together so that we can network and grow? You know, the stronger the better. So united we stand, divided we fall." I was like, "Yo, that's a good idea." And I was right on my phone. He said, "Let's create a group." I created a new group, DMV CyberSecurity Professionals, and I added him and 5 other people. Down 2 months down the line, we have over 200 people, and we had our very first meeting that we co-hosted, and it was a success. We came there, we learned ideas, and we plan to meet every quarter. You know, I believe that if we network more, if we work together as a community, whether it's in fashion, it's in business, if it's in IT, we're going to grow faster. Because guess what? Barack cannot do all the IT jobs over in DC, you know. So, and then it's also a platform to help those who are struggling. Let's say my contract is out tomorrow, I could reach out and they have a vacancy. And so it's just the working together aspect that we decided to create something like that to come together. And there was something like that for Oracle, but there was none for cybersecurity. And since we've done that group, people have had help with certification endorsements. People have had to go for interviews and gotten jobs. So
references,
you name it. You know what I'm saying? Help exchange artifacts, documentation, all that good stuff. And we're growing together like a community, which is what we should be doing as Africans in the DMV.
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah.
The group got maxed.
I see Bertrand, he's always, you know, eliminating some numbers and adding some more. It's like that constant shift. And then you create another group for for those who are, you know, the beginners.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So WhatsApp functionality ends with groups having only 256 people, and we had initially the group was only for working cybersecurity professionals, but then some of us were instruct like people met everybody admin and were bringing their students in maxed out, and there were actual working professionals who were trying to come in, which was the goal for the group, but they didn't have a chance. So we created a separate group for folks trying to get their foot into the door. So I don't want to call them students or anything because it's very funny. This world is so small. There was someone that I helped to endorse for a cert, and when I got to a new job, she was one that held my hand and really walked me through everything. So we're not trying to demean anyone like a student, but for folks who are still trying to get their foot into the door, we have another group for them where they can network, meet together. We come there, we mentor them, all that, and we have a separate group for the professionals who are networking and all that good stuff, which you're part of. So.
I mean, the good thing about life, man, is something I learned is what you do with the success that you get. You know what I mean? Most people when put on a higher platform, you know, they become reserved. But to see young folks, as Bertrand, Clifford, Ghislain, actually, putting themselves out there. I mean, nobody's paying you for this. Like, nobody's paying for that. You took the initiative to actually do it. To actually say, you know what, let me help my own people. Instead of speaking, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show it. To actually do that, like, I applaud y'all for that. It's something that was definitely much needed. There's one question that a lot of people ask: Is there an age limit to this? Like, can a mother, can a father who let's say they between the ages of 40, 50, 60, can they actually get back into this field, certify themselves and get to the job force?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Actually have a friend of mine used to work at the, I think, Department of Commerce, and there was this guy, an African. He met this guy who badges him in. He does physical security, and then he refers the guy to the training course. He does it, and he leaves from 50K a year to like 105, 110.
Mhm.
He's like in his 60s, so everyone can do it. Clifford, it's only 20. He started when it's only 22. But the thing is, like, when it comes to the age downwise, you can only say so much, because if you're 21 and you say you have 4 years of experience, so you started when you're what?
Oh, wow.
17.
People don't look at it that way.
Ridiculous. So,
Yeah, people don't look at it that way.
yeah, so on the downer side, it's 22, but for the upper ages, it's just
It's
unlimited.
unlimited,
It's
yeah.
like I said, everything in this life can be learned and relearned. So it's really doable.
Yeah.
Intelligence has no age.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like if you teach yourself anything and you
learn.
master your craft, you can do it pretty much at.
Man, I never see you read books. Where you coming up with all this quotes, man?
Audio book, man.
Yeah.
Audio book.
Yeah, I believe that you're never too old to learn and never too young to teach.
Yeah.
So everyone pretty much can.
It's open
hop
to
in.
everyone. Yeah, there's no age limit.
Man, there's a lot of our uncles, aunties, that create businesses out here in America. And some of them in the health field, some of them in the agricultural field and all whatnot. But we're in that age where everything requires technology, right? And most of them don't believe in the whole technological aspect, of a business. They don't know the power of technology in their business.
Yeah.
Or for those who use the technology, they don't see the security. They don't see how security could impact, what is that to do, their business. And this question, I'm actually showing this to you, Clifford. What advice, would you give to our aunties, our uncles, or even young folks, who create small businesses? I mean, earlier I was reading about cybersecurity and small businesses.
Right.
What advice would you give them in terms of just security? What tools can they use to implement security in their business?
From us doing security, everything is about security. Security always comes first. So, but people don't know, like you said, because it might be they're uneducated or they don't know much about information technology, or they don't know about technology. But in every organization or a small business, you want to know how to protect your stuff, even just by closing your door. That is security. It's very important. And if you have, like he said, PII, you have to know how to secure that. But I just really start for my business. You have all these things that you have to get before you set up your business. So from a cybersecurity point of view, you should have at least a firewall if you have a network to protect your environment and stuff like that. But I would say every person should learn about security and learn how to protect your business from unauthorized access. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. What advice would you guys give any high school or college student, who is currently working to get a degree in cybersecurity or get a certification in cybersecurity, or is thinking, of joining the cyber world or technological world at that? What advice would you give them?
Connection. Connect.
Networking, yeah.
You have to network. You have to talk to. You find a mentor. Find somebody that you can listen to. I'll help you. I'll be there.
Yeah,
I promise. I'll help. Of course, I'll help.
Connection, yeah.
But I think we're in a connected system, connected universe where we spend majority of our hours on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We should use that. We have a lot of groups on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, which we can use to reach out to people that have done this, people that have experience, and talk to family and friends. You have somebody in your family that does IT, and that one person might just hint you about something going on. Inside information is everything. Knowledge is priceless. There's no value you can put on knowledge, but connecting and talking to the right people will get you the right information, that will get you that right job,
Right.
that will get you that right new thing, that new value that you add to whatever you want to do. So I just think if you connect and network, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you have to do is sorry, what was the question again?
The question was, what advice would you have for
anybody trying to come in? I want to say cybersecurity is, you take it like a professional, like a hustle. Oh, I went to Barack school for 10 weeks. I got a cap of security plus. I'm a cybersecurity analyst making 95K. I'm balling. No, it's you want to do that, and then it's like a profession. It's not like a hustle. Right now, you want to get in there like that, but down the road, you want to really take it seriously. Go back to school and have, because you can only manage. You can only become a program manager if you have like a bachelor's degree or stuff like that in cybersecurity. And I want to say network, like Barack said, adding to what he said. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships, period.
Yeah.
So you have to
Say that again.
The quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. So reach out there to help people, and we are willing to help because we've struggled. You know, many people think that some of these training schools that we do is for the money. You know, the fact that you can sit back and somebody will say for life that because of me, this person had this 6-figure job or whatever, the feeling is priceless. You can't put a dollar amount to that.
Right.
You know, and I learned early in life that you only grow by lifting others up. So reach out. It's not back in the day when to find a mentor or to find someone to pull you through, you know, it's hard. Right now, no need to try to reinvent the wheel. Success lives close. You know, there's a track record of people who are making it happen, like Barack here, and people who hire people and fire people like Barack. So reach out, try to get help, and try to be the best of whatever you do. Try to add value, because people go in and get complacent. That's what I've noticed. People get in and get complacent. Go out there. If there's a cert that you can get it. If it's a course that you can take it. If you can go back and get your master's degree, whatever the case might be, go for it. You have to be the best, you know, to have that cutting edge over others.
Right. I mean, funny thing is, in this one thing that I always notice in the security, in the technological world is, you can never get comfortable.
Yeah.
Because the minute
It's always changing.
No, it's
Things
always
always
ever
change.
evolving. Yeah. So, to add a little bit of light on what he said, like, I failed my CAP before, and
You met on LinkedIn, right?
Yes,
You
I met
see?
him on LinkedIn. I texted him.
No, my body's
And
just
then
LinkedIn.
I met him. He gave me like a study guide, and so far I've been using that study guide, and it made everything so simplified for me because of just connecting with him.
Yeah.
And from there on, we've like gone closer and like we're hanging out.
Right.
So, like he said, networking is really important, and also just because you get into IT is so broad, and you should be always be available to learn new things, because you always want to learn new things. That's the only way you can go forward, by accepting that you are not comfortable with where you are. You always want to get better and always want to learn more. That's just how you're going to do it. I said, get more certs, go back. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, go back, try to get a bachelor's degree that is related to your field, because, you know, most of us coming from back home, you probably get a bachelor's degree in like chemistry or science or something. So you want to go back, get a master's degree in either cybersecurity or information technology. You want to always get better. That's just it. You want to get better in what you're doing.
Right. Man,
Another thing is, people forget that getting a job is one thing. Keeping
it is
job
another thing. Yeah.
is the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's a different ballgame.
Anything else?
Nah. You're going.
All right. So yeah, I was saying that keeping that job is the hardest thing, and networking does not stop. Just because you have a job today, your job is not guaranteed tomorrow. It might be robots taking your job over.
Yep.
It might be virtualized in the cloud before you even know it. So I feel like keeping yourself informed is like the biggest gift they can give yourself. And the best way to do it is to talk to people that, actually live in this. People that are actually in the emerging technologies.
Right.
People that are actually making things happen behind the scenes.
Right.
People that you don't see on a regular day-to-day basis. For instance, because I'm a cybersecurity professional doesn't mean I'm not supposed to know who everyone that works in that environment. I try to connect with every single person in that environment because there's some information that I don't know. And the more you know, the better off you are.
Right.
And somebody else might take your job just because you did not prove or you did not add value. And that value was being able to connect and learn from 360. And I feel like if we stay connected, I guarantee you will not probably need a job. You'll be creating your own business.
Facts. And that's a good segue to say, yo, this conversation is not going to die here. Next time we'll connect like this, we're definitely going to be talking about how to use cybersecurity to create businesses like Clifford over there, which after this we'll stop our hands in his pocket to see how he came up with this. But now I appreciate you guys for coming through, spilling some juice on this whole cybersecurity thing. This is just the first of many conversations. I titled this Ask the Practitioners because they're currently doing their thing in their respective fields. Just to piggyback on what Barack said, which is cross-training, I believe that's the word to use. We're also going to touch on that next time. We appreciate you guys for coming through. This has been really fun. I'm glad that we all in this room. We've gotten to know you guys, seeing growth. From A to B to Z and all that stuff. We also plan on following in you guys' footsteps. Not to say that we're not there, but just for the sake of the pod, just for the sake of the pod, we really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mr. Co-host Reflex, for being the executive producer for this. I see you in the back since smiling. Means money don't land, but
so much love.
So much love.
Hey.
But yeah, man, this was a great conversation. Check us out on every platform, SITM Podcast. The email is sitmpodcast237@gmail.com for comments, questions, referrals. See you next time. I'm your host, Uncle AK, and we out.